Good morning, students. Today we're actually going to talk about the 6 ways to classify matter. So the 6 ways to classify matter are mass, physical state, magnetism, conductivity of thermal and electrical conductivity, solubility in water, and relative density. So the first one we're going to talk about real quick is mass. So mass is how much space an object takes up, and we find that as a measurement of your weight. So that would be something like finding out that something would be about 15 pounds, like this dumbbell. That's 15 pounds. So that's the amount of mass it has, is 15 pounds. Or something like even just this yarn alone would be much, much less. But it still all has mass. It all takes up space. Every single thing that is made of matter takes up space. So remember, matter is all the stuff that makes up everything in our known universe. So all these objects you see on this table, all this is made of matter. We're made of matter. Dogs, cats, living things, non-living things, everything that is a thing is made up of matter. Now, our next one, physical state, that is describing something as either a solid, liquid, or a gas. So gases like oxygen, we breathe in, and then we exhale carbon dioxide. Both of those are gases that one we take in, one we release, and those would be our gases. Another thing would be liquid. Of course, I have water right here, so water would be our other physical state, and then because it is a liquid, and then our last one would be solids. Now, anything that's solid, it holds its shape on its own, just like this magnet. As long as I'm holding it on the side, it's not falling apart. If I try to do that with water, it doesn't stay. I can't pick it up just from like one certain point. And then of course gas, I can't reach out and grab any gas and hold it in one specific spot. Now, magnetism. So for magnetism, remember, the only thing we're focused on is if it sticks or not. Since it sticks, it is magnetic. If it doesn't stick, it is non-magnetic. So remember, there's only 4 types of metals that are magnetic: nickel, iron, cobalt, and steel. Those are the only 4 magnetic metals, magnetic things in the universe. Now, I want to go over conductivity. So thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity is the ability to pass electricity or thermal energy through something easily. The easier it is, the more conductivity it has. So I know it's kind of difficult to see, but if you look right here, I have some wires exposed on this light. Those wires are made of metal, it's made of copper, but then the thing around them, that is a plastic coating. That plastic coating helps protect us from the electrical current that usually runs through this to turn on the light. Now, if we touched this while electricity was going through, we would be electrocuted, and the reason why is because people are electrical conductors. We conduct electricity. That's why if we get electrocuted, it will hurt. Another one, water. Water is a conductor of electricity. And all metals are conductors of electricity. But all metals are also conductors of thermal energy. So I actually had my stove going, and I have some water boiling, and the reason why is because you can see this heating coil is so hot that it's actually changed color, so it's heating up this pot right here, and then the heat is transferring to the water in there to cause it to boil. So that's why when we're ever cooking, we're also using thermal energy, and we always use metal pots and pans to cook with, especially on the stove. Now, another thing, relative density. Relative density is just deciding if something sinks or floats. So, these scissors, they're metal, they got a little bit of plastic. Maybe they'll float, maybe they'll sink, we'll find out. Well, that sank pretty fast. What about the yarn? The yarn floats. So that's all we're trying to describe with relative density, if something sinks or floats in water. Now, the last one, solubility. So, solubility is if something dissolves in water. If you see right there, nothing is really dissolving in there. So, I'm actually going to move that real quick. But, I have my water right here. I'm going to add some of this emergency powder. I'm going to see what happens. So initially it did actually sink to the bottom there, which would mean that it is more dense than the water, but then it shot back up. And the reason why is because the emergency is carbonated, so it causes bubbles to rise up. That's why you can kind of see a lot of bubbles at the top. But then if I start stirring this, you can see that it even changed the color of the water, but it actually is dissolving. So that's what solubility is. It's just the ability to dissolve in water. Now, some things can dissolve, other things cannot. Remember, oil would be something that does not dissolve in water. Sand does not dissolve in water, as well as metals do not dissolve in water, but some things do. Salt dissolves in water, sugar dissolves in water, our drink mixes dissolve in water. Make sure that we understand that there are certain things that do dissolve while there's other things that do not. Now remember guys, the 6 ways we classify matter is with mass, states of matter, whether it being solid, liquid, or gas, magnetism, conductivity, whether it's electrical or thermal, relative density, or solubility in water.